Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Today we're reading from Canto 5, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1. We'll be going through verses 8 through 22. The topic today is that the Lord's will is revealed through the devotees. Very interesting topic. First, we will sing Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachariya Yamuna Tiravanachariya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabiyariya Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradariya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachariya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Radha Kalasanji Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And if we can please chant the invocation prayers together, both the Sanskrit and the English. Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devyam sarasvatim vasam tato jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer the respectful obeisances unto the personality Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayasha breshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamasloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who's praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Megantamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshuramaritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay, so we started Canto 5, and Vidura and Maitreya are speaking, and the question's brought up. Why is Priyavrata? Priyavrata? Is that the name of it, right? Priyavrata. He says he's a pure devotee, and yet he's in Grihastha life. What's going on with this? Isn't the pure devotee supposed to be unattached and in the renounced order of life? And so this is explained in this story about why Priyavrata is able to, induced to take up being a king, and how the pure devotee can deal with such a position. So we'll start off with text 8 here, and we'll be going to chapter 1, and we'll be going to text 22. So if each person, when you speak, can do 2 slokas, please.
As Lord Brahma descended on his carrier, the great swan, all the residents of the planets named Siddhaloka, Gandharvaloka, Sadyaloka, and Chanarana-loka, as well as great sages and demigods, flew in their different airplanes, assembled within the canopy of the sky to receive Lord Brahma and worship him. As he received respect and adoration from the residents of the various planets, Lord Brahma appeared just like the full moon surrounded by illuminating stars. Lord Brahma's great swan then arrived at the border of Gandhamadana hill and approached Prince Priyavrata, who was sitting there. Lord Brahma, the father of Narada Muni, is the supreme person within this universe. As soon as Narada saw the great swan, he could understand that Lord Brahma had arrived. Therefore, he immediately stood up along with Swayambhuva Manu and his son Priyavrata, whom Narada was instructing. Then they folded their hands and began to worship Lord Brahma with great respect.
What's Lord Brahma's vehicle? A swan. Can you imagine that? Wow. 9, please. 9 and 10.
My dear King Parikshit.
I think we get 9, please. Oh, wait, we already did 9. I apologize. My bad. 10.
My dear King Parikshit. Because Lord Brahma had finally descended from Satyaloka to Bhuloka, Narada Muni, Prince Priyavrata, and Swayambhuva Manu came forward to offer him objects of worship and to praise him in highly qualified language, according to Vedic etiquette. At that time, Lord Brahma, the original person of this universe, felt compassion for Priyavrata, and upon looking at him with a smiling face, spoke to him as follows. Lord Brahma, the supreme person within this universe, said, My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharishi Narada, must carry out the orders of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order.
Wow, we've got quite the assembly here. Who's in this assembly? Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Swayambhuva Manu, Narada Muni. Wow. And then it was even saying like the residents of these amazing planets and stuff. Quite the assembly. Okay, 12 and 13, please.
One cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities, an exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities. No one can use his power of religion, his material opulence, or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. That is not possible for any living being, from Brahma down to the ant. My dear Priyavrata, by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities accept different types of bodies for birth and death, activity, lamentation, illusion, fear of future dangers, and happiness and distress.
My dear boy, all of us are bound by Vedic injunctions to the divisions of Varnashram according to our qualities and work. 3 divisions are difficult to avoid because they are scientifically arranged. These divisions, We must therefore carry out our duties of Varnashram Dharma, like bulls obliged to move according to the direction of a driver pulling on ropes knotted to their noses. My dear Priyavrata, according to our association with different modes of material nature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives us our specific bodies and the happiness and distress we achieve. One must therefore remain situated as he is and be conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exactly as a blind man is led by a person who has eyes that wish to see.
So Lord Brahma said that we need to carry out our duties in Varnashrama, and he gave an example. What was that example? What animal? Yeah, like a bull being pulled by ropes by their nose. Okay, 16, 17, please.
If one is liberated, he nevertheless accepts the body he has received according to his past karma. Without misconceptions, however, he regards his enjoyment and suffering due to that karma the way an awakened person regards a dream he had while sleeping. He thus remains steadfast and never works to achieve another material body under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. Even if he goes from forest to forest, one who is not self-controlled must always fear material bondage because he is living with 6 co-wives, the mind and knowledge-acquiring senses. Even householder life, however, cannot harm a self-satisfied, learned man who has conquered his senses.
The 6 co-wives. What are the 6 co-wives? In the 5 acquiring senses, taste, touch, etc., right?
One who is situated in household life and who systematically conquers his mind and 5 sense organs is like a king in his fortress who conquers his powerful enemies. After one has been trained in household life and his lusty desires have deceased, he can move anywhere without danger. Lord Brahma continued, My dear Priyavrata, seek shelter inside the opening in the lotus of the feet of the Lord, whose navel is also like a lotus. Thus conquer the 6 sense organs, the mind and knowledge-acquiring senses. Accept material enjoyment because the Lord extraordinarily has ordered you to do this. You will thus always be liberated from material association and be able to carry out the Lord's orders in your constitutional position.
So Lord Brahma is saying that there's a benefit to householder life. What is that? His lusty desires are diminished, right? Are decreased. Get whipped enough. You start getting the point, maybe? 2021. Sorry, what? 21, 22? There we go.
Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, after thus being fully instructed by Lord Brahma, who is the spiritual master of the 3 words, Priyavrata, his own positions being inferior, offered obeisance, accepted the order, and carried out with great respect. Lord Brahma was then worshipped by Manu, who respectfully satisfied him as well as he could, Priyavrata and Narada also looked upon Brahma with no tinge of resentment. Having engaged Priyavrata in accepting his father's request, Lord Brahma returned to his abode, Satyaloka, which is indescribable by the endeavor of mundane mind or words.
And the last one is Svayambhu Manu, with the assistance of the Lord Brahma, thus fulfilled his desires. With the permission of the great sage Narad, he delivered his sons the governmental responsibilities for maintaining and protecting all planets of the universe. He thus achieved relief from the most dangerous poison ocean of material desires. So Priyavrata says, okay, I'll do it. Very nice. Very obedient. Okay, we'll turn to 5.1.11. Please. Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nabodhite Dam Ritam Bhavmi Masuitam Devam Harsya Apramayam Vayam Bhavaste Tatais Maharisir Vahamma Sarve Vivasyaya Sadistam Nimbodam Ditadam Ratam Bravami Masyuitam Devam Arhasya Aprameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Esya Maharsir Vahama Sarve Vivasyaya Sajistam. Bolo, please. Nibodham Tetam Ratam Bhavami Masuyitam Devam Haryasya Aprameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Isya Mahasir Vahamya Sarve Vivasyasya Jistam Vibodhyam Tetam Damritam Bhavami Masuyitam Devam Haryasa Prameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Ese Masir Vahama Sarve Vivyasya Yasadistam Vibhodhyate Devam Ratam Bhavyami Masityam Devam Haryasya Pamayam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Esha Masir Vaham Sarve Visyaya Sasitidam. Okay. Midbodhyam Taitam Ritam Bravimi Masuitam Deva Marsi Prapameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tatata Ish Maharsir Vahama Sarve Vivasyastistam. Any recognized words in this sloka? Devam. What's Devam? Like the demigods. Any other ones? Mashir. Oh, let's one at a time. So we hear Maha, Maharishi. Maharishi. What's mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody's great, huh? Any other words recognized? Maybe sarve all. Okay. Yasya. Therefore. Aprameyam. Ah. Yes. Our dear Aprameya Krishna Prabhu. Okay, let's go to synonyms, word by word. All together, please. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Lord Brahma, said, Nabodhya, kindly hear with attention. Tata, my dear sons. Idam, this. Ratam, true. Bravimi, seeking. Ma, not. Asutam, to be jealous of. Devam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arhasi, you ought. Aprameyam, who is beyond our experimental knowledge. Vayam, we. Babaha, Lord Shiva. Te, your. Tata, father. Asya, this. Maharishi, Narad. Vaha Maha, carry out. Sarve, all. Vivasya, unable to deviate. Asya, of whom. Istam, the orders. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person within this universe, said, My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharishi Narad, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order. Purport of the 12 great authorities in devotional service, 4, Lord Brahma himself, his son Nard, Swayambhuvamana, and Lord Shiva were present before Priyavrata. They were accompanied by many other authoritative sages. Brahma first wanted to impress upon Priyavrata that although these great sages are all authorities, they cannot possibly disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in this verse as Deva, which means always glorious. The power, glory, and potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be diminished. In the Ishopanishad, the Lord is described as Apya Vidya, which indicates that he is never affected by anything materially considered sinful. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being so powerful that nothing we might consider abominable can affect him. An example sometimes given to explain the position of the Supreme Lord is that the sun, which evaporates urine from the earth but is never affected by contamination, the Supreme Lord can never be accused of doing anything wrong. When Lord Brahma went to induce Priyavrata to accept the responsibility for ruling the universe, he did not go whimsically. He was following the dictations of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, Brahma, and other authorities never do anything without his permission. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya. The Lord dictated Vedic knowledge to Brahma through his heart. The more a living entity is purified by devotional service, the more he comes in direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Desham sata yaktanam vajatam priti purvakam dandami buddhiyogam tam yenama upayante te. Those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Lord Brahma therefore did not come to Priyavrata by his own whims. Rather, it is understood that he had been ordered to persuade Priyavrata by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities cannot be understood by material senses and who is therefore described herein as Aprameya. Thus, Lord Brahma first advised Priyavrata to hear his words with attention and without envy. Why one is induced to perform certain acts despite his desire to do something else is indicated herein. One cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord, even if one is powerful as Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Manu, or the great sage Narad. All these authorities are certainly very powerful, but they do not have the power to disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Brahma had come to Priyavrata in accordance with the orders of the Supreme Lord, he has first wanted to dispel any suspicions that he might be acting as Priyavrata's enemy. Lord Brahma was following the orders of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it would be worthwhile for Priyavrata to accept Lord Brahma's order as the Lord desired. What a purport, oh my gosh. I was reading it and just like, I was like, you know, I take notes, of course, when I give class, and just like a little kind of, some notes to speak on. But as I was reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much in here. But I'd like to start with that in the translation, it said, do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, Brahma said, who is beyond our spiritual measurement. I was curious, you know, what you guys heard. What's the reason the Lord Brahma's not saying to Priyavrata, do not be jealous? Ajit, please.
Well, if we want to be the controller, that comes from like a jealousy towards the Lord, because he's actually in control. That's why after that he goes on to say that everybody, even Lord Shiva, everyone, we have to follow the direction of the Supreme Lord. So
very interesting, huh? Everyone has to follow the order of the Supreme Person. Do not be envious. Any other thoughts about this comment of do not be envious? Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Lord Brahma is saying that he's there on the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's making it very clear to Priyavrata, I am here because Krishna has sent me. So therefore, these instructions you can accept without concern. And therefore, if you accept them without concern, don't be jealous of them. Don't be envious. You know, the Lord wants me to do what? You know, but I want to do this, or I think I should do that, right? These are envious ways that somebody can respond in envy, right? Or jealousy. But because Priyavrata is a nice devotee, and he accepts the position of Lord Brahma, he isn't envious, and so he accepts these instructions by Lord Brahma. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that there's 12 great authorities. And so I was curious if anybody understands or can explain what these 12 authorities are that Srila Prabhupada is speaking of. The Mahajans. What's a Mahajan?
A great personality.
Great personality. And there's 12 Mahajans, right? And so we have 4 here. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Swayambhuma Manu, and I think I said Shiva. Oh, Narad Muni, right? Let's see if we can name the other 8. Raise your hand if you have one. Who's another one? Bhishma and Prahlad. Whoa, 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 whoa. he's like, okay, we got Bhishma and Prahlad. Who else? Janak? Okay. Who else? The 4 Kumaras. Who else? Yamaraj, right? Who else? Kapila? Got 2 more. No, we didn't say Parikshit. No, we didn't say Parikshit. And Sukadev Goswami. Yes, the 13th. So So then who, I think that was 13, so Prikshit isn't one? Yeah. Yes, they were named. The question is, who's the 12 Mahajans? Who are the 12 Mahajans? And so Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that that the Mahajans are the great devotees of the Lord, the greatest devotees of the Lord. And so we can be very enthusiastic to understand that they are speaking the Lord's desire, right? And so Srila Prabhupada goes on to say the Lord dictated Vedic knowledge to Brahma through his heart, right? It's pretty interesting. What would this be described as? Krishna giving instruction through the heart. Paramatma, maybe? Right? So, in the translation, it was mentioned that one must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from this order. So, can somebody help me, hear these two different things? That the Lord is dictating Vedic knowledge through Brahma's heart, and in the translation, we're talking about that one can deviate from his order. Anybody shed light on this? Trista.
Brahma is saying that no one can disobey the orders of the Lord, and the Lord is giving me orders for you. And don't be jealous of the Lord, as in, do what I'm saying because Krishna dictated it to me from the heart.
It's very interesting, right? Because he's saying that we understand that Lord Brahma is one of the 12 Mahajans, right? So he's a pure devotee of the Lord, right? But they're saying that everyone cannot disobey the orders of the spiritual of the Supreme Lord. So there's an interesting thing going here because we have the pure devotees who are hearing the Lord in the heart, but yet no one can disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord. So those persons who are not pure devotees, how does this look? How are they meant to act or have to act by the will of the Supreme Lord? It would sound like if they're in the acting by the will of the Supreme Lord, that they would be pure devotees also, right? So somebody, what does this look like in the difference between the pure devotee and the conditioned soul? Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, Krishna says to Arjuna, if one is not able to fully fix their heart and their mind in the Supreme Lord, then one should follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga.
Go ahead.
So that's, the highest stage is to be fully absorbed in love or meditation of the Supreme Lord and His desires. And then the stage under that is, if you haven't developed that love and situated fully in your devotional service to the Lord, that one should follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, which are also given through the spiritual master.
Very good point, right? So mostly the position we're at right now, right? We can't exactly surrender completely, so we're following the orders of the spiritual master and following sadhana bhakti, right? Just thinking that, in the pure devotee, did you have something to say, Ajit? Go ahead, please.
I was thinking also, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that he's been fulfilling the desires of living entities since time immemorial. So it's not like he's trying to make us do things that we don't want.
Yeah.
It's like if we want to just enjoy without him, then he'll facilitate that also.
Yes. So in the conditioned soul, Krishna is acting as Paramatma in the heart, right? Even in the insects, in the animals, Krishna is fulfilling all of their desires, right? Even the bird knows where to fly exactly each time it flies to the winter. The insects all typically can find food, right? Krishna's providing all guidance for the living entity to fulfill their desires. The interesting thing is, for the conditioned soul, though, Krishna is just Paramatma, acting behind or back. Because the conditioned soul, and that is, I guess you could say, I shouldn't actually, let me dive in a little bit. The conditioned soul that is an atheist, Krishna's not showing himself, right? He stays back as Paramatma. He's still dictating. He's still having them move, but through the three modes of material nature, right? So the three modes of material nature are acting, and Krishna is saying, "Oh, remember your desires, remember your desires, remember your desires." But the conditioned soul can't hear this. They can't perceive as Paramatma dictating. Instead, they see it as their desires. But as we become devotees, an interesting thing happens as Paramatma changes. Krishna, instead of staying back, he starts to come forward. He starts to show himself as Krishna and starts to give us direction on how to come closer to him. But in the conditioned state, as devotees, still not being completely purified, being a Mahajan or a pure devotee of the Lord, we have a situation where we can't hear it clearly. We're in a mix. We want Krishna, but we still have some desires. So we're like, he's giving us instruction, and so we just can't quite, sometimes we make mistakes, right? Because we're still conditioned souls, and conditioned souls have 4 defects. What are those 4 defects? I just mentioned one. We make mistakes. Imperfect senses. We have a tendency to cheat. Did I hear you? Yes? And then we have, we become illusioned, right? So still in our conditioned soul, we hear Krishna talking, but we still have these things that come. We maybe want to cheat a little bit, or we just can't hear it completely perfect, or we make a mistake. We hear Krishna talking, but we do it in a wrong way or something. But yet, we still know that Krishna is in our heart. So how do we move past this part in our life as devotees, where we're starting to hear Krishna in our heart, but we're not exactly sure because we can make mistakes, and we know we make mistakes. So what do we lean on in this situation? Right? We start to listen to devotees. And that's where Priyavrata is in his life. He's hearing from the devotees to hear clearly what Krishna wants. So we're in this conditioned state, and we should hear from Guru, Shastra, and Sangha. We should hear from the devotees. We should hear from Guru, so that we can get a clear understanding of what Krishna wants from us. Now, it's interesting in this process that through devotional service, we start to cleanse the heart, and we get to hear Krishna more and more and more and more, and it becomes clearer. His voice becomes stronger. We start to see it more clearly. So through the process of Krishna consciousness, through the process of sadhana bhakti, through the process of following the orders of Srila Prabhupada that has given us to become pure devotees, we get a chance to test. I think Krishna's telling me like this. And we go and we ask the devotees, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" We ask Guru. And he says, "Oh, you should do like this." And we go, "Oh, I was wrong in that. That part I was wrong. Oh, you know what? I was kind of hearing that, And so we get some clarity on where maybe we were off and where we were on. And then we keep going. We go, "Oh, this time I was more clear. I was really, I'm getting the confirmation of what Paramatma was telling more clearly." And we move forward. So eventually that we've experienced enough, we get trust. We can say, "Oh, I can trust myself that I'm hearing Krishna in my heart more. I can trust that I know more." And so therefore, our connection with Krishna as Paramatma or as Bhagavan becomes more clear, And we can get that our clarity through our ability to hear Krishna with the heart, like the Mahajans, becomes more clear, and we become more trusting, and we can therefore move forward with that. However, I just want to put a little asterisk. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue to get clarification from devotees or through Shastra or Sangha. Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee, could hear Krishna perfectly in his heart. He was always asking questions. He was always clarifying. And so, I see that as more of, fun, You hear Krishna heart and then you hear it from other people, and it's like, that's joyful. Have you ever had this experience where you have Krishna in your heart saying something and then bam, it gets reconfirmed by many other devotees? How good does that feel? Then it's just play. Then it's just your personal relationship with Krishna, And okay, I'm a little bit over time, so I'll go to questions, comments, concerns, thoughts. Hare Krishna. Premamrita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
for a nice class. Your last point on this topic of gradually, as we listen to Paramatma, we learn to trust that voice in our heart. We learn, to not trust the false ego that goes against. Then, we can hear him more and more and more. And it reminded me of something I heard in a lecture by Sachinandana Maharaj recently. He said that actually the 9 stages of devotion, starting with Shraddha to Prema, it's all what it is a gradation of our faith, and it's just our faith getting stronger. It's actually Shraddha through and through, getting stronger and stronger and stronger to the point of Prema. We have some faith, and so based on that faith we associate with devotees, and so we start doing devotional service, and that increases our faith, and so we start to allow him to get rid of our narthas, and then our faith increases more, and we become really steady because we believe it and we know it that it's working. So I just thought that was really beautiful. And that faith comes when we're listening to Paramatma, we hear it, we feel it within our heart, and it's confirmed externally as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice points.
Thank you. I was thinking it's so nice when that faith deepens, right? Because faith is actually the foundation of love. Without faith, there is no love. In any relationship, you have to be able to have some trust or faith that person is going to reciprocate, that they're there for you. And more you gain faith, the more love there. And so we have this opportunity through sadhana bhakti to start to see it grow. The clarity comes, the purity in our heart, where, I can hear Krishna in my heart. Oh, that confirmation from devotees, from scripture. Oh, wow. One of the greatest things I really enjoy is that we read, we do Bhakti Shastri in the evenings. And so there's times where Bhakti Shastri and Srimad Bhagavatam, they just come hand in hand. And it's very intense because it's you're doubling up on lessons. And it's just you can see that this is totally Krishna's arrangement. That these, this verse being spoken during the day and this verse being spoken, how they come together and the way they're being described, you're just wow, Krishna, thank you. This is amazing that you're really, and then you perk up a little bit because you go, man, this must be really important. If Krishna's doubling down on it, then this must be a really important point, and it comes clear in the heart. Any other comments, questions, thoughts?
I just thought it was interesting, because in this case you have Narada Muni has his opinion on what Maharaj Priyavrata should do, and then Swayambhuva Manu has a different opinion. Usually we see Narada Muni as being a prime authority. So many times in the Bhagavatam, he's the one that we listen to that's just always right, that's always on point with everything, that's perfect. But then you see Lord Brahma comes as a superior authority to both of them, and is on the side of Swayambhuva Manu, that Maharaj Priyavrata should become king and rule the world. But how did Narada Muni respond? He was very humble. he was just like, okay, my father is here. He's on the side of Swayambhu Manu. I accept that and I offer obeisances. And so I just thought it was very inspiring on the part of Narada Muni as well, that he surrendered to higher authority as well. So, Hare Krishna.
This is part of Narada Muni's greatness too, is to follow the instructions of his seniors. There's so much power in following the instructions of our seniors. I was told when I first got married that the instruction wasn't. I heard this instruction from a Srila Prabhupada disciple to my wife. She said, "Follow your husband because Krishna will make him right." Right? And so I've seen that in my experience. So that in my seniors, not that I don't ask and inquire and try to understand directions, but if I'm willing to follow their directions, even if there's some hesitation and stuff like that, then Krishna makes them right. He makes it at least where they're I make advancement. There's a situation put in place where I oh, okay. My heart was purified because I did the right thing, following this instruction. So Narada Muni is very surrendered, and so he's also knows the value of following the senior and how pleasing it is to Krishna. There's purification when we please Krishna. Joy comes, happiness comes. One more question, comment, thought? I kind of felt like we were sleepy today. Was it my class or is everybody just tired? Monday? Yeah. Monday. I'm gonna ask everybody to stand up and do jumping jacks or something or before class so we can get some. Anything else? What do you guys think of this point, that through purification and we get to this great joy of hearing Krishna more clearly, and that's the process of devotional service, is a cleansing the heart. We get to hear Krishna more clearly, and then we can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, something I was meditating on is that once you come to the Vedic conclusion and you realize there's a personality behind everything, it can be kind of overwhelming. Even in this verse, Bhagavan is described as Lord Brahma, since he's the topmost being in the cosmic universe. And sometimes even Super Soul is described as kind of, instructions of your guru or Lord Brahma. So although there's a personality behind everything, the individual has to be steadfast in a personal relationship with their spiritual master or their dearest object of affection, right? That could be like their child, their mother, or Krishna or the guru. But that personal connection is, because Super Soul could just be, it could be many things. So you need the external manifestation of the Super Soul, like the spiritual master, to sometimes criticize you, sometimes give you personal instructions. And that's what I was thinking, I'm almost hesitant to take any instruction from the heart unless it's like personal, unless it's like some person behind it, and even Lord Brahma says we should be perfectly situated until we get that personal instruction. It shouldn't be like, oh, my heart's telling me this, or my mind's telling me this, and you're still kind of, like Krishna says, one whose intelligence is many branched is still can remain irresolute. So just makes me think, we should really develop those deep personal relationships in our lives and try to get the highest kind of personal message, or
Amazing point. Really appreciate this point that the external manifestation of Paramatma is there in our gurus and scriptures, even too. Very nice point. We'll end there. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bo, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Antikoti Vaishnava ki jai.